Hello internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind Christian Miss Couture, and today is going to be a fun experiment where I'm going to be using leftover dyes stock solution from previous project, and we are going to try to do a fade on full skeins of my classic sock yarn, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. We're going to try to do a full fade using full skeins, because usually we are doing it with mini skeins, with 5 mini skeins, and I just want to see if we can do something like that on a larger scale, because I've just never attempted to do it with bigger skeins. So without further ado, let's get into this. So today we're going to be doing something very different than what I'm usually doing. Well, it's not very different, but it is different. So I'm going to be adding 8 cups of tap water into this pan where we already have our citric acid. So what I want to do is I want to try a fade of color with leftover dye, but instead of doing it on mini skeins, we're doing it on full skeins, because I've actually never attempted to do a full fade in the pan with full skeins. So we shall see if I'm able to do it, to pull that off. I'm hoping to be able to do that, but you know, we never know. Okay. So, perfect. Perfect. And I'm going to turn on the heat right now so we can get this going. Okay. And since I'm using colors, so I was speckling and I washed off my gloved hand and I created stock solution that way. So I don't know how much pigment we're going to have. I'm expecting to have quite a bit of, how can I say, of pastel color here. Or maybe not. We shall see. So I'm just going to split my jar like this. So I want to make sure that I'm fully covering at least the first skein, like here. Then I'm going to do my blue and starting this approximately here. So the half point of this. Okay, so I can already tell you that my blue is very much less pigmented than the rest. So it's definitely going to be pastel colors. But it's okay. It's a fun experiment. Right? It's fun. We're having fun here. Okay. But it also means that it's going to take less time for the color to strike. So I will have to be working quite fast on those ones. Okay, so we're going to have some patchy stuff, see, that's for sure. Okay, so I feel like my yellow is going to be the most intense of them. So I'm going to wait 10 minutes before we switch the yarn from this side to the other side. So I'll see you in 10. Okay, let's switch side. So we can hope to have coverage everywhere on those skeins. And you see, this is why I prefer to work with mini skeins. They're less heavy when they're wet, and you don't have to worry as much coverage wise because they're so tiny. Okay, it's okay. I might improvise a little bit after and just like add pigment somehow. We shall see how it goes.
because I feel like especially the blue one is going to be super bare, naked. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. We might add some speckling at the end. Okay, so I'm going to wait about 10 minutes for the color to strike properly, and we're gonna come back to see what's up. See you in 10. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now, because we have some we have some space where it's a little bare, but it's okay. It's going to be an interesting final result. I'm just going to. Oh my goodness. This one is. There's barely anything. I could just have hacked that, but I don't want to. It's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm just going to try and fluff those skeins of yarn here. You know what? It's not too bad. It's going to be an interesting combo, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly dry up my glove and grab a respirator because I'm going to be speckling. And we only have one pair of lungs, so we need to protect them. Okay, so basically, we want to make sure that we have a respirator where you won't that will catch all fine particles, so you will not be breathing the fine particles in the dye. So I will put this on right now. I'm going to grab some True Black, and we're going to go for it. And when you are speckling, make sure that you're not uh, that you're keeping your fingers pinched like that, so that you know you don't drop your pigment. Okay, so now that we've added the last color onto those canes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 30 minutes on the stove. Come on. Okay. And then I will see you later. Okay, bye. Okay, let's take a look. It's been 30 minutes and we're all good to go. So I'm going to turn off the heat and I'm going to let it completely cool off before we're going to wash off any excess dye and let it dry over. So I'll see you later. Okay, so here I didn't had any like color left in the dye bath, which is not surprising with our pastel the color were. However, since we did some speckling with the True Black, we might have some grayish tint into the bath because sometimes when you are speckling, you will have some clumps of dry powder that didn't dissolve and didn't properly strike. So this is why it's important to let it soak a little bit to make sure that we don't have this happening, and that if you're selling your yarn, you don't sell yarn with like clumps of dry powder in it because that would not be pleasant. So I'm going to let it soak for like 10 minutes and we're going to come back and see what's up with that. Okay, let's see what we have. And we're good. I am very happy with that. And now I'm going to put this in the spin dryer and let it dry overnight, and I will see you tomorrow for the final results. Bye! And here's the final result of the fade we did with Leave No Dye behind. As you can see, this is not my best work when it comes to a fade. However, we still have the fade effect since we have the colors that are going into each other. This one I would 100% make sure that we have some sort of that you would like switch up from round to round or row to row before switching your skein of yarn on your project, that's for sure, because I feel like there would be a bigger gap. I feel I could be wrong. I could always be wrong because
we're human after all. But if I were to try that again, I would try with actual, you know, colors that I know what's the depth of shade in my jar and not leftover dye. I think that with the quantity of color I had left, if I had used mini skeins, we might have been able to see something nice. However, this is not what happened, so there's that. But it's okay. It's fine. Yeah, so I will try to do another fade at some point with actual color, and we can do the comparison then. So I hope you've liked the video, and if you did, please consider sharing, liking, and subscribing, and I'll see you next one very soon. Bye!